Hello everybody, good morning. I am just making my tea and finishing that up, and then we are getting started making our Saturday morning breakfast. We are going to be making something fun, so stay tuned. I'm just waiting for my tablet for my recipe to charge for just 1 sec, just so it gets enough that it can get going. So I'm gonna finish making my tea. And I figured I'd do something early today rather than like dinner time because I have a meeting today at 2:30 for Pampered Chef at my director's house. So, and plus, I haven't done this one in a while, so it will be fun. It will be fun. That I can promise you. So, see if you guys can guess what we're making. So those are some of the ingredients. More coming. You guys read that? It's kind of small. Oh. Okay. I know that's some of the ingredients. I just have to wait for my... Oh, really? Now it's doing an update. Bear with me. So grab your tea and your coffee because this is going to be fun. Oh, here we go. Perfect. I hopped on a little bit late because I was making my husband some toast and getting my tea stuff ready and setting up here. So, but now we're in action. So, I'm gonna grab my... If you don't have a pastry blender or cutter, you can always get one of these on the Pampered Chef party link that I have here. And it's usually attached, like if I do a recipe, I'll attach it to that. So when I post, I will attach it so you guys can shop directly from there. Are you guys tea or coffee drinkers? I used to be a coffee drinker, but now I'm a tea lover. But I loved both before. It's just that my stomach doesn't like the coffee as much. So, and then I also use this in my tea because I drink chai tea. Delicious. They also have a sweet cream that's one of my favorite and a creme brulee. All delicious, you guys. And then I take sugar or cane sugar, a little bit of cane sugar, and I put it in there because this isn't very sweet, which is good. But so then I do that, and then I add cinnamon to it. So I'm going to do that now while we're waiting for the computer. Should have loaded that. Let's try that again. There we go. Sometimes it just is like, needs a little push start. You know what I mean? Get ahead of things. I don't know why I ever tried to log into Pinterest to my account because I always just do it through Facebook. So here we are. room. I think it was this one I was gonna do. Yep. Here we go. Okay. Butter. Okay. So, black pepper, butter, that goes more of the liquid style stuff, crushed red pepper, we have our pork, we have our rosemary, we need thyme, we have flour, so I just need thyme for my seasonings. And thyme. Okay, so that's for that. And then I already have my cookie sheets out. And make sure you get some cooking spray. This is the one I like that I talked about the other day. So, and then your rolling pin for your biscuits, of course. And I have this mat here, which Pampered Chef sells. You can get that also through the party link. With baking season coming up, I highly suggest, especially if you don't have a place that is easy to roll out without things slipping up from underneath you. And then here are my cookie sheets. My Pampered Chef cookie sheets. They come in a set of 2 with a nylon spatula. Ba-bam. So, so I have my tea. The world is right again. And then we're going to make homemade buttermilk biscuits. So if you guys can guess what we're making, let me know. Okay. I bought all these big bowls. They're like steel bowls. I've had them for years. But that way I can make whatever I need to make, depending on what I'm going to need. Okay. So I'm going to hop back. Which ones look good? Okay, so we're gonna start our biscuits. Just gotta see what we need real quick. Here we go. So 2 cups of flour, baking powder, baking soda. And then we are going to need sugar, salt, and we'll use 6 tablespoons of cold unsalted butter for the biscuits, but we're not going to take that out yet because we want it to be cold, of course. Okay, and we want this to stay really cold. So, rule number 1, sip of tea. Okay, let's get this party started. I'm just gonna grab my you guys haven't got these, I'm telling you, they're amazing, especially if you bake. We have a classic batter bowl, and I think there's another one. I can't remember. I haven't had my teeth, but they come with lids. I will look them up. I will let you guys know the exact name so you know what to look for. But these are amazing for teacher gifts. You can fill them with different levels of things, and you can put a little bow on them and a little note and make them personalized and give them hot cocoa. You can even, with their name, you could put a little gift card on the side, whatever you want to do. You could throw these in here. These also make good stocking stuffers, and they are low in cost. So let's see how much flour we need, because that's going to go in here. 2 cups. So, no, I just brought them over. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, I have a spoon. And whenever I'm doing my biscuits, I always, I powder that area too, so they don't stick to the mat. Because this mat here is silicone. A little bit more. So as you can see, 2 cups. This is a total of 4 cups on that measuring bowl, I guess you would call it. And I'm gonna leave the flour out because I'm gonna also use that for the other portion of this. So let's see. I need to preheat my oven to 450. So they actually recommend, instead of using the cooking spray, to use parchment paper for this. So I'm gonna grab some. So when they have you do something like this, make sure it's parchment paper and not wax paper, because there is a big difference. And so in a large mixing bowl, we're going to mix together the flour, baking soda, a fourth a teaspoon. So a fourth a teaspoon of baking soda, 2 cups of flour, These are so nice because you don't have to get out a whole thing of measuring spoons or cups. And then baking powder is a fourth, I lied, 1 tablespoon. Yeah, that's what it says. And then I always just use this little wall to make it even. So 1 tablespoon of baking soda. And 2 teaspoons of sugar. You know what? I'm going to do this again because I did. Now we're doing sugar. So there's 1. And 2. And we're going to go ahead and put the sugar away because I do not believe we need it anymore. Gets it out of the way. And perfect. And then we need 1 teaspoon of salt. And I believe we still need that, so we're going to let that. for this, I'm actually going to use our stainless steel whip just because it's not very heavy and it's not very much. And it makes it a breeze. I like it. This is the first time I've used it. These are one of those things in your kitchen that you're like, why haven't I had one of these before? And this is also an excellent stocking stuffer, you guys. Or even a little gift with, if you need to keep something under a certain price. For Secret Santa, or any of the teachers, or you're just simply on a budget. Okay, so I think this is together real good. That made that super easy. I won't lie. So next we are next we're adding in the butter, and we're just going to do pea-size amounts, and then we are going to blend it in with our pastry blender or cutter. And that's going to be 6 tablespoons. Yes, I just want to double check. And then after we do this, we are going to, then we're going to add in the buttermilk. So I'm just kind of breaking them in fourths, but I'm not cutting it super thick, if that makes sense. So like I was saying, it doesn't have to be exact, but it just kind of like, it makes it easier to blend. So now I am going to go ahead and take my pastry cutter and get the butter going in there, and then I will get my cold buttermilk. And I will need 3/4 cups of buttermilk. So let me know in the comments, you guys, what you guys are making for breakfast. It's kind of probably going to be more like brunch, but that's okay. And when you're working with any type of pastry, whether it's biscuits, pie dough, anything like that, you always gonna wanna make sure that you, like with pie dough, it would be ice cold water, and then it would be your very cold unsalted butter. And then with biscuits, it's the buttermilk that's cold and the unsalted butter. But you always wanna make sure it's cold, not room temperature or warm. And I always blend my butter first before adding more liquid because I want to make sure that it's getting blended in with the flour real good and the dry mixture. Just to be sure, I think it's okay. But another good way to use up your buttermilk before it goes bad is, oh, there we go, is to make buttermilk chicken, fried chicken, which is always delish and a crowd pleaser. So, oh, I don't need to do that. Okay, so, and if you don't have buttermilk on hand, I'm not sure if you guys knew this fun little fact that I found out, that you can actually add vinegar to your milk, and that will be buttermilk. I have not tried it, truthfully, not yet, but it's a nice little, because most people have milk and they have at least vinegar in their house. Some people always have buttermilk, but we're not one of those people. So now we're going to blend all this together. Our pastry blender. Some people call it a pastry blender, some people call it pastry cutter, whichever you prefer. And then I'll show you guys what the dough looks like when I'm all done doing that part. And just remember, this is for biscuits, so it's not supposed to be like super thin like a cake mix or anything like that. You can smell it though. It smells good. So, and then we're going to roll it out when it's all done here. Perfect. Love it. I love it when my biscuit dough works out good. So here's kind of what it looks like up close and personal. Not super sticky, but it is definitely cold because of the cold ingredients. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to clean off my pastry because we don't want to leave any of this goodness behind. I have 2 teenage girls sleeping, so I figured I would make breakfast, and then my husband too. So, but I figured I would share with you guys what I do when I make biscuits and gravy. It's not hard to make homemade, as you've seen. It only took very minimal ingredients. The key here is keeping things cold. So, because technically it falls into that pastry, even though it's a biscuit. The way that you cook it and stuff. So now, let me see how, oops. So like I was saying, we're going to, sorry you guys, we have had gnats and I don't know what the deal is. Like we don't have a ton of fruit out or anything. We have a couple apples, but that's it. It's weird. But even my aunt that didn't have anything in her house, she just bought a brand new house and moved in, didn't have any fruit or anything out. She had gnats. So, how do we explain that one? So, we're just gonna put, I'll move that in a second because I just gotta get over here to my flour. So, it doesn't have to be a ton, but just enough to because it is a little sticky because it's so cold. And that's good, you want it like that. But you don't want it sticking to everything because you want to be able to cut it. So, and you don't want it sticking to your rolling pin either. So, used up all of that goodness. And I got our biscuit cutter. So you can also get those with the party link. And you can use them for multiple things. Okay, so I got this pretty well put together. That's how it looks like after I've floured it. So like I said, it doesn't have to be a ton, but it needs to be enough that it's not sticking to your rolling pin, basically is the story there. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. And then they're gonna go in the oven at 450 for 15 to 17 minutes. And you can actually see those pats of butter as I'm rolling this out. You can actually see them in the dough. And those will melt as they cook, of course. Oops. So I'm going to move all this. So this is kind of where we're at with things. There we go. So now this should be at least enough for us. So it depends on how thick you want your biscuits. And we don't even need that many. So I think I might actually roll it a little bit thicker. So I'm actually going to there we go, that's perfect. I am going to spray a little bit on my parchment paper though. If you guys do make breakfast, what's one of your favorite breakfasts? What's a hit in your house? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you're making a fun Saturday thing, you get up early, what do you like to make? Because sometimes we do French toast, sometimes I haven't done these in a while, but sometimes I'll do these and just surprise them. So now you just kind of keep re-rolling your dough. And you can always double your recipe, but I am the type that's like, seems like it never turns out when I double it, so I like to do it individually. So, and when these are baking, that's when we're gonna make our sausage gravy. So we're gonna kind of do 2 at once, which is kind of nice. Gonna be perfect for, I have 1 biscuit left to make. So it did make 12. Made a dozen, which is kind of nice. Perfect, you guys. This one's a little bit thicker, but that is okay. As long as they're around the same size. And this is all that's left. It's a little tiny ring. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven. This is what they look like. I am going to actually take a little bit of butter, or you can even do, we'll do that, so we don't have to melt more butter. Perfect, and they're going in the oven for 15 to 17 minutes. And then we'll start our gravy. So I set it for 16 right in the middle. Usually how my oven works. I just don't want those sticking to anything, so I'm going to rinse these off real quick. My daughter does dishes. It's not a big thing. Okay. Got that going. So now we are actually going to work on our gravy. This is fun. This is the easiest part, I feel like. And we didn't even use this one. All right. Need that. So what I do is I have extra flour here. So I'm just gonna, our garbage can is right on the end, nice and handy. And then usually towards the end, I'll wipe this down. But this way I'm not getting flour all over my shirt. As you can tell, I'm terrible about wearing aprons. I do have them. It's like I don't remember to wear them. Are you guys apron wearers? Or am I alone in all of this? So, okay, that's a little bit better. So now we're going to jump back over. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to throw your breakfast sausage in your pan and get that going. That's number one. And you can use, I'm using breakfast sausage because that's primarily what we would use for this, but you can use spicy, non-spicy, whatever you choose. And I am going to use our mix and chop to do the rest, grind up our meat. So, let's see here. There we go. So I have my sausage in my pan. Just gonna go over here, use my reach. Oops. Use our mix and chop. There we go. And we're gonna turn this up just a little bit. I turned it to about 4, between 3 and 4. These also make an excellent Secret Santa, a Sunday school teacher, and stocking stuffers, if you're looking for any holiday ideas. I know everybody's kind of tight on money this year, and so this is a great way to give somebody something that they're going to use, but not just something they're going to use, they're going to use it to make memories because they're making food and their families gathering together, which is always a win in my book. These days, it's really hard to get everybody together at the same time. We're all going in different directions. This is one of my husband's all-time favorites. I'll show you guys what this looks after I've kind of chopped it up real good, which it's really amazing. And you can use these for not just chopping up meat, but chopping up so many different things. You can make guacamole by hand. You can do, I actually made a cheesecake topping, a strawberry one, and I just crushed up the strawberries and I made it with just my mixing chop instead of using like dragging out a big huge blender. And then you just have one tool basically to clean. Show you how well this kitchen power tool does. Right? So good, right guys? So I'm gonna let this cook a little bit. Obviously I'm gonna keep stirring and doing all that. And then we're going to dab some of the grease out because you don't want all of that grease in your, a little bit for flavor, but you don't want it all in there for your biscuits and gravy sauce. And that's what we're going to start doing, is we're going to start adding those other components in. So let me grab it. Is anybody else someone that gets busy and like, oh, I'm gonna have my tea too, or my coffee, and then you're constantly microwaving it to get it warm? And then this girl. There's that. So it's starting to turn just a little bit. It has a ways to go, but you can see in certain areas it's starting to brown out, and that's what you want. I need to grab a little thing. So, flour. You guys can read that. It's kind of hard to read. Butter, half and half. Tea. And then when I do my sauce for the biscuits and gravy, I'm actually going to turn down the temp on this. Because it has milk products in it, you don't want to burn the bottom of the pan. No, no. So I'm just bringing our ingredients over here. And our black pepper. Browning up really nice, you guys. You can see there. And I know that the girls will smell it. I assuming that they'll smell breakfast, and I'll be like, "What are you making, Mom? Come down." We'll see. We'll see if that scent drags them out of bed, so I didn't have to wake them up. It's possible that they sleep right through it, though. They're teenagers, you guys. Let's take a sip of this while it's still hot. What do you say? Delish. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab my ingredients. So my tablet, aka the tablet, because that's what I get all my recipes on. Well, not all of them, but I should just write some of them down so they're in a cookbook, because that's definitely, it's more fun to just open a cookbook. What do you guys think? Do you guys like to do online recipes, or do you like to do a cookbook? Especially if they're like family cookbooks, then it's just kind of like, oh, look at the love, feel the love. I get excited to cook with them. So I'm going to do the recipe for Jess. And I am going to turn this down. I'm going to move this over here. These out of the way. Safe. We're just going to stick our little trash can right there. And our biscuits are about to come out. So, we ground the ground pork. And then we are going to bring this over here. We need 2 tablespoons of flour. So we're going to put this back on. I just did that. Okay, so now we're going to check our biscuits. Perfect, you guys. Look at this. I'll show you in a minute. Let's see here. There we go. Just going to bring them over here. Okay, that was kind of hot. So I put this, a little bit I actually need 2. There we go. And then 1 tablespoon of butter. And I'm just going to take it right off the top. And I'm pretty good at judging it now. With the butter, please. But as you guys know, I've said before, most of the butters nowadays, they have the measurements where you can cut right on them. So next we will be adding 1/8 of a teaspoon of dried thyme. So I'm just going to let these mix in together. And as you know, the flour is a thickener. If you have a gluten intolerance, you may not want to do that because you definitely don't want to do that. You may want to use something else like rice flour or almond flour. Oh, and then 1 teaspoon they want also flour. I thought I was done. So it's 2 and 1 teaspoons of flour. And then we're going to do our dried thyme. Any brand you have, any brand that is your liking is perfectly good. It's kind of nice when you make this because the grease is so hot that it basically melts in flour, which is nice. It's not like clumpy, like, you know, when you're making regular gravy. So we're going to do 1/8. So just like that, that's all it takes. Just little bits. Okay, this one's done. And luckily, we're right by my spice cabinet. You guys, if you could see this whole spice cabinet, it's just like ridiculous. See that? And it's like jam-packed full. Jam-packed. Okay, so we did the thyme, and now we're gonna do 1/8 of the crushed red pepper. Again, any brand, it doesn't have to be what I'm using. You don't have to use red pepper if you choose not to, but I'm just doing it as the recipe says. And then we need rosemary. So now I just took an eighth of rosemary and I just crushed up. You can use a knife, you can use whatever you want. So, that and then freshly ground pepper to taste. And then we need 2 1/4 cup of half and half. Sorry guys, somebody tried calling me when I was cooking with you guys, and we just can't have that. So there's 2 cups. And then I'm just gonna, this one's one of the ones where you can actually, well, usually you can, but because it used to have an app, I can't see. There we go. Perfect. And then I'm going to use a little bit of salt. Salt and pepper to taste. There we go. This is going to be good, you guys. I'm going to show you guys real quick. Sorry, we have. Doesn't that look good? Ooh, I think I hear footsteps. I think there's movement. So I'm just basically waiting to get this just thickened up enough so I can pour it over the biscuits. So in the meantime, I'm gonna let it sit for just a moment, but not too long because you don't want it to burn like I was talking about. So I'm just gonna put the flour away. Not too much though, you guys, but move this over here. I'm just kind of picking up, you guys. If you haven't picked up on me picking up, that's what I'm doing. Here is another great stocking stuffer. This seasoning is one of our amazing Italian seasonings, and you can use it to jazz up any meal, from sheet pan meals to your spaghetti sauce. Sometimes I just put it on my vegetables, and then I roast my vegetables on our lovely cookie sheets with a little bit of this and parm. So all kinds of things you can do. This is kind of one of those versatile seasonings, and just if you guys didn't notice, I want to point this out, that I don't know if you can read that or not, but it says gluten-free, so which is awesome. I know that our seasonings are also kosher. I suppose we could have added a little bit of Italian seasoning in here, just a little splash, since we were doing oregano and let's try it. Oh, here's another good tip you can use with this. Pizza sauce. I wasn't even thinking. And I'm hoping to make a pizza maybe on Sunday. Sunday or Monday. But it's going to be in one of my new cast irons, so I'm excited. So it has onion, garlic, oregano, basil, majorium, I think is how you say it. I can never say that word. Herbs and spices. No sugar, no salt, no preservatives added. Store in a cool, dry place. And just remember with our spices, they're filled by weight, so whatever the weight on the bottle is, maybe the bottle might not be completely full, but it is the weight that it says. So. And then, like, breakfast is basically done, you guys. I'm just waiting for this to thicken up just a bit. And while they're eating, I'm gonna heat my tea up again for it's like the third time. Because even when it comes off of my Keurig, it's like not hot enough. Because I usually sit down and I don't want to drink it all like at one time. I'm a sipper. I like to sip on my tea. Do you guys make espressos at home? Lattes? I used to be that girl. And now I'm this girl. So these are the lids that come with our big, I believe it's called the classic batter bowl. So, but this is me now with all of my tea. This. Ba-bam. So, that's the situation. But I used to be a huge espresso lover. I used to bring 2 to work. Oh my gosh, it's getting thicker. I love it. This is going to be so good, you guys. I think they're going to love it. I'm excited to show you guys the finished product. I'm thinking maybe like 2 or 3 more minutes and then breakfast will be done. And if you want these recipes, just let me know in the comments. Or if you have any questions pertaining to our products, like the mix and chop or the cookie sheets and the nylon spatula that comes with it, any of those things, just let me know. But as you can see, everything was homemade and it did not take hours and hours. It took a little time. We started around, I think it was like 10:15, and so it did take a little bit of time. But everything's always better homemade. That's how I feel. Because I came from a family and we did a lot of things from homemade. So, because when you have, 6 kids and a bazillion grandkids, you can't really afford to just like go out and buy these more expensive meals. You got to find ways to improvise. So, and this isn't a super costly meal either. People basically have the ingredients at home for your biscuits. And a lot of the ingredients for this, except maybe the half and half. I'm going to turn that off because I don't need it anymore. And if your gravy's not, even after it sits for a little bit and cooks, if it's not as thick as you would like, you can always add a bit more flour. But I would do it gradually. Little bits at a time, so then it's not like this clump of gravy, because the longer it cooks with that flour in there, it does thicken up naturally. So and I I will show you guys when we're all done. I'm going to dish things up. I cannot believe those girls are not smelling this and have not come downstairs yet. I thought for sure this was the ticket. I just used a knife to make my crushed rosemary, but another tool that you could use is your hand chopper. I've even used that for bacon, you guys. We didn't have bacon for baked potatoes, and so I took the bacon that we use normally, which is just the Costco Easy Bacon. We just pop it in the microwave. But I took that, and after I cooked it, I let it sit for a minute and kind of like harden up, and then I used my hand chopper, and we had bacon for our baked potatoes. And it was delicious. So you can use that for so many things. You can chop up nuts with it, you can chop up onions, peppers, anything you can think of, really. Can you guys smell the goodness? I just see the steam. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just turn that off. I'm going to let this sit for just a moment, because I'm going to let it thicken up just a tad more. I don't want it too runny when it's on the biscuits. Okay, so as you can see, it's not super runny, and the longer that it sits, the thicker it's going to get. So now I'm going to come over here. Don't need my garbage can over there anymore. So now I'm going to bring you guys back over here, because I am going to plate everything up right here. So I'm going to kind of show you guys that's what it looks like without smelling it. And then I'm going to show you guys when it gets on the plate, but delicious. So perfect. And then I usually just take the biscuits and I cut them in halves. And I'll show you what the inside of the biscuit looks like. Perfect. And that's biscuits and gravy. And you have made a homemade breakfast for your family, which is always fun. I love doing these things. It was so fun to get together with you guys this lovely Saturday morning. I'm going to go ahead and serve breakfast to my family, get the teenagers up, and then I'm going to enjoy my tea and maybe a little breakfast. And then later on, I'm going to my meeting. Let me know what you guys are doing this lovely Saturday. So I will talk to you guys later, and I will see you on the next one.